Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bazil. Welcome to Why Gigantic Needs to Be an eSport Part 3. This episode, today, and whatnot, is going to be about developer participation. That's right, and you too can own developer participation for only $19.95 if you order today. We'll include a free sock. Free socks aside, and in all seriousness, developer participation is very important. In games like Dota 2, League of Legends, and even Smite, there are very high levels of participation in the developer community and aspect of the esports scene in those games. StarCraft, the top players, and the shoutcasters work very, very closely with Blizzard and the StarCraft team to make sure that the game is constantly balanced, because that game is definitely balanced off the high skill cap of the players. That's not going to be balanced, say, versus a bronze level player who's the entry level player. It's definitely going to be balanced around the grandmaster level play and the professional players that actually get paid to play. And now Dota and League of Legends and Smite are kind of that happy medium where they have to keep it fun and interesting for the casual side, but they also have to take into consideration the top level players side as well. And they have to make sure that they're not abusing certain mechanics in the game that they would otherwise not be able to do, because the casual player side isn't going to be able to play Invoker at 4 billion actions per minute like Dendi from Na'Vi can. He's insane with that character. Just a bit of back reference, Invoker is a character that can combo different spells together to make other spells, and he has, I think, like 100 and some different variations of different combinations that make somewhere close to like 18 spells or so. And there's a video out online of Dendi actually practicing Invoker in a mode that allows him to have no cooldowns and no mana, and just going crazy and just doing all these spells really, really quickly. And he does it flawlessly. So in terms of balancing from that level of skill to someone who says, well, I've never played Invoker, I'm just going to only cast 1 or 2 spells that I know how to do, it is very, very difficult to do in a high-level competitive game. So this is where developer involvement is extremely important. Apparently, I can't talk today. And the participation level of developers is going to be crucial into making sure that an esports scene is something that does happen in Gigantic. And based off of everything I've seen and just the way the developers interact with the community now, I think we're going to get that form and level of participation that we need in a esports scene. Someone that I was able to work closely with was Mo Huggles, or Elly Murdoch, and she's one of the community developers for Motiga, and she did a great job in Guild Wars 2. She was in... Her exact title is still a bit unknown to me when she was at ArenaNet, but I know that she was working closely with the shoutcasters and top players when it came to the PvP side. So we have that experience on our belt as well, which is something that's very, very encouraging, because she did just a phenomenal, outstanding job when it came to the PvP involvement and participation level on her part in the Guild Wars 2 scene. So that's very, very encouraging to have someone like Elly on the team over at Motiga. And just talking with some of the other developers, via Twitter, Reddit, and also the IRC channel, it's very clear that they want the game to have an esports scene, but they're not going to push it. So again, it comes back to that part 1 where we need to, as a community, rally around and make sure that the esports scene is ready to happen. And we can't push it too quickly. There have been a lot of talk on the other videos and on some of the Reddit threads that it's not good to push the esports scene too quickly, which I have stated before. It's very, very true. But when it comes to making sure the developers are doing their part, we as a community have to hold them accountable. And that's also very important, that it's okay to call out to the developer on certain things that you think might be BS or that you think might be wrong with the game. You want to actively engage them and get them to participate as much as possible. And that is something that will really, really help the game grow in terms of the esports scene. The next thing I want to talk about in terms of developer participation is the developers, I'm kind of addressing Motiga directly now, is you guys have to be willing to make changes that you might think is not the correct way to go. And that's something that a lot of developers have a huge problem with. And I have seen this so many times in StarCraft, Dota, WildStar recently, and a couple other games that are no longer esports or no longer really relevant games because the developers did not want to listen. And I know that just from talking with you guys are probably the most humble people and developers that I've ever met. And I mean that in a completely sincere and completely honest fashion. You guys have literally been some of the best developers I have ever met, and I am extremely excited to try and make this game what it can be, because I know it can be awesome. But at the same time, I know that there's a lot of pressure on you guys to try and make the game into a profitable business. Apparently that's a hard word for me to say. And it's going to be very difficult for you guys to try and balance what the casual side of the players want, and also what the high level and top players want. So I would encourage you guys to be, as always, like you guys have been, just keep being open and honest. Give us answers that you might not think are the right ones, but you know that need to be said. Make sure that you guys are always willing to call us out on our BS, because that is really big too. If you guys are a little bit timid or a little bit scared of calling out a community member, do it anyway. And that kind of stuff needs to be addressed as soon as things happen. And this kind of goes back to, this kind of goes back to the whole professionalism, as we talked about in part 1. If you see a top player or a top level community member, such as Tim, who runs GGU, or myself, or Blizz, or all these people that have the help the community grow right now, and they might start doing something wrong, or you don't like what they're doing, call them out on it. I mean, obviously do it in private if you feel it needs to be private, but there is a level of responsibility that you guys also have in terms of making sure that the scene stays as professional as possible. So going back to the whole professional side of things and the whole high-level side of things, it's okay to call a whole team out and say, hey, your behavior at last week's tournament was not necessary and completely unprofessional, and that cannot happen again. And if it happens again, you will be banned from tournaments. And that needs to happen. That absolutely needs to happen. And I know that that might sound like a completely dead wall that you guys would be putting yourself up against, but the reason that that needs to happen is because I have seen time and time again where the top level players are able to get away with murder, essentially. And it's not a good thing. This happened a lot in Smite, and it was something that I really tried to root out. I tried to talk with the developers, talk with the other shoutcasters and the other high level players, saying, hey, we can't let this happen. This just simply is not allowed. This is, 1, it's childish, 2, it's just unprofessional, and it hurts the scene in trying to compete with games like Dota, League of Legends, and it was really StarCraft 2 at the time that everyone was really trying to compete with, and League of Legends. So call them out. Call out the people that are being boobs. Just call them out, and don't be afraid of them leaving, because you don't want people like that in your game anyway. I don't want people like that in your game. I don't want people to come and be like, well, I'm the player, so beep, 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 you're stupid, and you don't know what you're talking about. That happened a lot on a couple games that I was invested in. I was like, I don't really want to put my time into this. It's not something that I want to be a part of and support or help promote. So, yeah, don't be scared to call us out, guys. You guys are doing a good job so far at keeping the professionalism and the some of the over-passionate people, if you will, on the DL, and I appreciate that, and that's something that I expect to continue, because you guys are just awesome. And it's something that, again, will help the scene grow. And if the community sees you guys are calling the boobs out and the assholes out, they're going to do it. And it'll trickle down to just normal games, and people will start trolling and be like, nope, you can't do that, I'm going to report you. And the community will rally around you guys, because if you help promote a professional and just friendly atmosphere like you guys have been doing. And once that trickles into the top level play, and once that teams see that you're not going to stand for that, it will almost be eliminated the second it starts, because they know that they want to play the game and they want to be the best, but they can't act like a bunch of assholes. And it's something that will really help, I think, the esports scene in general to really have a brand new IP, a brand new game, become popular, but not being assholes while doing it, because ego plays a huge role when it comes to participation of developers and also the top level players. So that's kind of my message to you guys, and that is going to be part 3 for developer participation. Not a lot, really, just kind of a lot of common sense and things that I wanted to share with you from my personal experience. But Motiga, you guys are doing a great job. I'm excited to continue to watch the game grow and help the community grow. And to all of you guys that have been participating in the community so far, rock on. You guys are doing an amazing job. And I think we have something really special here. And if we continue to go down the path that we are going to go down, it's going to be something really special. And God bless you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful afternoon, morning, or evening. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, where we talk about the art style and why it pertains to the esports environment. End card.